The town of Stirling, the place of so many murders, most of which have remained unsolved.
Ballarat Harry was never seen of again. Haunted creek track. Maybe Harry's ghost is out there.
Deep in the depths of the Victorian High Country.
There's a few areas with quite severe drop-offs. It's not the place you want to slide off the side of a track on.
I'm a little bit scared, I'm not going to lie.
We woke up the next day in Ensay, the weather was good. It's a great spot. Had breakfast, I think we had bacon and eggs again.
In a wrap, it was
Don't forget the wrap.
It was good.
Wraps must have been on special at Aldi.
Had some brekkie, had a coffee, quickly packed up and headed towards the haunted stream track.
Deep in the depths of the Victorian High Country, we are the stream hunters.
Matt, the haunted stream track, what are your expectations?
I'm a little bit scared, I'm not going to lie. It looks like a pretty cool area and I know it's got a lot of history, so pretty keen to see it. And after a little bit of rain overnight, should be a bit interesting.
Really been looking forward to this. I did Haunted Stream probably 35 years ago. It was a pretty wild track then. I think at one stage the hill was so bad we did 17 winches.
Did a bit of research before coming and keen to get in there and have a look. Over the radio, you got a whole bunch of people talking about how haunted it is. Woo!
Well, we are just passing through the gate as we make our way to the entrance of the haunted stream. This is very exciting. Literally straight off the blacktop onto the dirt road. Such a classic entrance.
Made our way through a gate and most importantly making sure that we had closed it behind us.
And then we headed off to the haunted stream track. Whoa.
My balls don't go that deep.
Oh, you sort of had to put up with for a week. Like, seriously? Typography pretty much sorted itself out into a consistent pattern. So you had to keep your wits about you by not looking at too much of the spectacular scenery.
Oh, yeah, keep to this side, mate.
That's a long way down.
Great trail. You can actually see the river as you go up with for hundreds and hundreds of metres. It was really picturesque.
One of the very few places around Australia where you can get these views and why the Victorian High Country, as it blends into the New South Wales side, really gets its name and is so iconic to those that tour around Australia.
Awesome views, plenty of water down there. That's haunted stream below us and it's flowing quite heavily, but there will be a number of creeks flowing into it. But from memory, I think it's 56 or 57 crossings.
Since the road is cut into the hillside, we did pass a section that was very narrow, that if you stepped out your driver's door, you would fall 20 metres into the haunted stream.
Right down below me is a massive cliff drop and we're literally looking at the river. On the left-hand side here, we've got all of the beautiful rock formations as we're going through a really narrow track and it's absolutely beautiful.
Watch that sharp rock on the right-hand side, guys. That'll tear your tyre right open.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. You want to watch the track because it's fairly narrow on the left-hand side with that rock face, and the right-hand side, I can see the creek about 20 metres below me.
Probably only about 200 to 300 metres before we hit the stream itself. Simon had gored through the track and accidentally knocked a tree over, given the size of his vehicle. And I noticed that Matt had pulled over in front because he wasn't able to get through.
Simon, you just knocked that tree out. I'm just going to stop and move it out of the way.
Copy that. Do you need a hand?
Nah, it's all good. Had to stop, get out, clear it for everyone else. Just because he's got 37s and can get over stuff doesn't mean that the rest of us can.
He was doing some common courtesy, as we like to do on four-wheel drive TV, and actually moved the log and the tree to the side of the track.
Make some room for the rest of the cars to get through, continue our way down Haunted Stream track. Awesome start to our day.
This is the township of Stirling. There was a pub, general store, it's like a church. Well worth getting out and having a quick look around.
Not really a town anymore, but a gold mining town that was founded in the late 1800s.
Sounds like such hard yakka, with them crushing something like 4 tonnes of rock to find a measly 178 ounces of gold.
All that remains from the whole town structure is this handmade rock wall, which was really cool.
There's a notice board with some cool stories on it. One of them was Ballarat Harry. He went off with another guy prospecting, and the other guy came back, and Ballarat Harry was never seen of again. The guy that came back conveniently had all of Ballarat Harry's possessions. So the rumour was, allegedly, Ballarat Harry is buried in the bush somewhere, haunted creek track. Maybe Harry's ghost is out there. And the other crazy story was somebody got upset with one of the local storekeepers and put dynamite under his bed and blew him and another guy to bits. So yeah, town of Stirling, it's a checkered history, to say the least.
One of the biggest things down here in the High Country is the winter seasonal closures.
Unfortunately, we did realise that the north side of the track was closed.
Missed it by that much.
How awesome would this have been?
They gated off to stop excessive damage with heavy rains. Not that we've had heavy rains this year, wouldn't have made any difference, but anyway, they gated off. You got to respect the parks people for protecting that.
This time of year, make sure you look at the Victoria Parks website.
Let's get a taste of the haunted stream.
With the history here being so rich and expansive, there's plenty of relics scattered throughout the area. It really gets you thinking about how the people of Stirling used to live.
This is the start of the northern end of the haunted stream track. Now sadly it's closed, but I reckon that's just an excuse for us to come back another time and give it a crack.
What an interesting little area, absolutely stacked with history.
I think it would have been quite a pleasant place where they built this town. Elevated view overlooking the river, surrounded by mountains. Except for all the hardship of not finding much gold, crushing a lot of rocks and all the murders. But aside from that, it would have been nice.
I guess that's a track for another day.
Damn, that sucks.
We've left what was the town of Stirling and the historical site there, continued our way along Tambo Spur Road.
The weather started to turn.
Here comes the rain.
Got very greasy and a lot more fun.
Right now is a perfect example of how quickly the High Country changes in weather. You can literally go from hot, sunny days, and then within a few hours we've got the rain coming down, track conditions changing, where the dirt's turning into clay.
If you're coming up here by yourself or just with a small convoy, make sure someone's got a chainsaw or an axe or something like that.
Just always make sure it's legal to carry a chainsaw in the area you're exploring.
There's a few areas with quite severe drop-offs. It's not the place you want to slide off the side of a track on.
How cool is it seeing that rain system come through the mountains now on our right-hand side?
We're unfortunately heading into that cool front. Unfortunately, it seems to be moving relatively quickly, so hopefully we pass through it this afternoon and don't have it tonight.
As much as camping in the rain sucks, I did enjoy a little bit of tip-tap on the top of the Bushwhacker rooftop tent this morning.
Yeah, it is quite nice, isn't it?
I personally think there's no better way to get to sleep tonight when you've got a bit of rain on the sound of the canvas above your head.
As much as we were enjoying this track, we couldn't help but think about how much fun the haunted track could have been.
You can only imagine what the rest of the track looks like looking from the gate. It looked unbelievable, and I'm sure that I'll be back. Definitely have to plan a trip to get back down here.
With the amount of rain coming down, we might still get our water crossing after all. And I have a feeling this track still has some surprises in store for us.
We can all squeeze through this one, but I reckon we stop and give it a bit quick clean up. It's only going to get worse for other people. Chainsaw and helmet, please.
Where the tree was, it was on a big embankment and it was a really long tree.
So we pulled over in the back of the tub, we got out the chainsaw again.
If you're going out in the bush, you've got to have the gear and you've got to know how to use it. Simon's pretty keen to make it safe.
clearing the tree off the track, it's not just for us, it's making it easier for someone else. Half the time people don't have the gear with them, they don't have the capabilities or the means or even the knowledge to be able to clear a tree.
You clear the first part, but then you have the dangerous part sitting up high on the bank that could glide down again.
Safety is the most important thing, and Simon had all the kit on. As a bystander, you just got to make sure you keep your distance. You never know what's going to kick on the tree or the winds.
Dragged it down so that they could clear it a lot better.
We're able to move it to the side enough so the rest of the convoy and other people can enjoy that track. Halfway along the track, it was getting to that time of day where everybody was getting hungry. We've stopped over just in the middle of the tracks of the High Country, have some lunch and then continuing on as the rain's pouring down and the weather's settling in, but it's making the tracks, could be a little bit hairy this afternoon, but we'll see how it goes.
How good is this? Out in the bush, and you can make a brew.
I was just in the middle of making my caramel latte.
This is what I've been hanging out for all morning.
Look at the crema. It's all about the crema.
After lunch, we continued on Tambo Spur Road. We're looking for a bit of excitement, so we turned off onto Rock and Roll Track.
Anything with the name of Rock and Roll Track has got to be good.
I think this is the third change of scenery we've had in probably the last 90 minutes. It's amazing.
Something about rain that just sets the mood. It's just picturesque type of area to be in.
A really awesome experience to be able to drive through the wildflowers. Everything was springing up really green and it was really showing its colours.
This is spectacular. This is, I'm speechless.
It just adds to the atmosphere of the High Country with the mountains around you. It really created a really cool cinematic vibe.
I think it's amazing because you can come up here 4 times in a year and get 4 different sceneries off the same track because it's always just so different depending on the weather.
This is a track. Yeah, this is a serious track.
As we continue on, the rain's starting to get heavier and heavier. The scenery is starting to change, and all these descents that we're starting to do are starting to get muddy. We're starting to slide around.
It's not huge, but it is steep. The descent that we're going down, I'm literally having to hold the side panel here just to hold me back.
Now this is where sometimes it can get dangerous in the High Country. The track conditions can change from a classic dirt, dust into this really slippery clay and uncontrollable track conditions.
Look at that, you can actually feel the back just twitch there. Just getting really greasy. The idea is you're trying to avoid using your brakes if you can help it, and try and use the gearing to slow you down. You don't want to lock that front wheels up.
With all the clay underneath us, it was so important for us to make sure that we had our lockers on and that we were using our low range gears.
This is fun, I'm liking it. And the mud terrains, thank God I'm on those, it's certainly the right tool for the job.
Freaking love this car. It's just a slightly lifted Navara. On those mud terrains, just gives you so much confidence.
I don't think rain's going to dampen our spirits at all. We've still got another couple of days of awesome adventure to get through.
As the whole convoy approached the bottom, just before we hit the creek crossing, and really enjoy the atmosphere that was being created that we had in the mountains with the rain coming through, the greenery, the sounds of the birds in the area, and then the trickling of the creek going past us that we're about to punch through.
Oh, here we go.
Water crossing.
Pretty cool, getting across, nothing too serious, not too deep, and you can feel all the rocks underfoot.
Here we go. Drop it down. Nice little creek.
Just magical. You've got the hills either side, you've got the beautiful clear water. It's just the best thing to do in a four-wheel drive.
As we then made our way through that shallow creek crossing, as we said before, what goes down must come up. So we made our way up the ascent towards Mount Sugarloaf along Engineers Road. Along that track, we had another change in scenery where we had all of those ghost trees that had been burnt in the fires, and seeing these big grey dead trees along the side of the track just created another atmospheric change.
A little bit of sun poking its head through, guys, which is a good sign. We might get some views up here. Hang on, there's some glimpses of mountain tops across to the right.
And you're right, as we look out across the right there, you can see the mist, but you can see the mountain tops, and that's unreal.
Oh, there are the clouds.
That's some of the most picturesque scenes that we've seen on this trip so far. Hopefully we'll be able to see a rainbow as well with the sun shining through on top of the mountains.
Crazy to think that we're 800 metres in elevation and we're looking up at some of the mountain tops across the range. That's unreal.
The mountain range opposite, that became a dark background to these wisps of cloud that were just sort of patchy and floating, and the contrast between the white and the dark green was really odd and really picturesque and really poetic in some way. It was quite jaw-dropping and unexpected.
It's just spectacular, guys. Looking out across those ranges, seeing the way the clouds are broken up by the mountains, it is just breathtaking. Love it, guys. The Victorian High Country turning it on for us.
I tell you what, with the sun coming out, it almost feels like a new welcoming into the High Country. You know, it's like a fresh start.
Yeah, it certainly feels like a very different day. Certainly not my thought process from an hour ago of what we're going to do tonight. Like, seriously, from completely overcast an hour ago to have a look at that blue sky above us now.
You cannot just make this stuff up. The fact that we're sitting here this morning just talking about the changes and how quickly it happens, and to be able to showcase that within an hour later is just phenomenal.
Go from thermals to sunblock.
And from thermals to budgies. Am I getting a couple hints from the entire crew that they want to see me and my budgie smugglers?
Negative.
Oh.
No.
Doing a lap of the Dargo pub pool table.
Might need a few beers before that happens.
Guys, we're descending Sugarloaf Spur #1 track, and this is going to take us down to the valley floor and our potential campsite for tonight on Nicholson River. But before we get there, I think we've got 5 creek crossings and then hopefully a crossing of the Nicholson River.
We then descended down towards the Nicholson River track. It was one of those tracks that we're going to tackle where you cross the Tambo Creek multiple times. So I was looking forward to see what the river levels were on that.
New area to me, done lots of the high country, but never been in this part of the world. Very exciting to get along there. I knew that somewhere along the Nicholson River is where we were going to camp for the night, so I was pretty keen to get ourselves set up.
We're basically crossing the Nicholson River, probably 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
Nothing big, but it's just fun ducking in and out of the water and climbing up in banks on the other side and just working your way through.
Dave's had the heating on around 30 the whole trip, but I've just found seat cooling and I am in heaven. I am temperature controlled while I'm 20. Dave is his happy 30.
I can turn the seat heater on.
Some would say I'm hot, but you know, it's only from the shoulders up.
Fair enough.
So it's quite rocky, this crossing. It's a fairly easy run through the middle. We'll take it a little bit wide. Just walk it through over those rocks. Nice and easy done.
How good's that? Rocky crossing, geez, can't complain with that one bit. Love the high country, love getting out.
Oh, nice and bumpy going through this. There's a couple rocks there you're going to try and avoid so you don't whack your diff. And a bit of a muddy exit here. Woohoo! Good amount of traction though on the way out.
Only a shallow creek, but there's some pretty big rocks in the middle. So the idea is to try and straddle the rocks, a little reef on the left, and avoid the worst of it.
Nice line from David and Mike Coleman.
And just like that, we're through the creek crossings. But next week we continue on our way as the tracks get muddier and slipperier. Will we make it to camp?
This is going to be a while.
Where do you think has the most stunning view in the Vic High Country? Let us know down below. And if you want to see more spooky adventures, click here.